are watching the #1 podcast in the whole entire YouTube wrestling community, and I'm one of your hosts, Juanzo.
And I'm your other host, Jean-Paul Leek.
And together we are...
Road
Break! And it is NXT time, family, a little bit later than usual, but we're ready to bring you the best information, the best content in professional wrestling, in YouTube, and in the whole entire world. Jean-Paul, how are you doing?
Good.
Ready to talk about
I'm
NXT,
ready. Yeah,
right?
I mean, this weekend, I guess I'm, good, but, Smackdown's coming up tomorrow, so probably not so good. But I am excited to watch some NXT UK later, so that's
we have like the whole that this weekend is going to be extremely busy for you, because family, we're going to bring you previews and predictions for Clash of Champions in a few, like tomorrow we're going to have like a Smackdown review, we're going to have NXT UK review, and then we have the whole event pay-per-view Clash of Champions. Jean-Paul, myself, will be talking about every single thing that happens during those shows. But right now, it is the time for the yellow brand, and that is AEW. But it's going to be NXT, Jean-Paul. But before we start, like I said, or again, condolences forever, like the family of Joe Laurinaitis, a.k.a. Animal from the Road Warriors. We're still mourning, like he's lost, like he went and be with the Lord. So, it sucks, but, that's life. And talking about live, Jean-Paul, let's talk about good stuff, though. Let's move on to actually Copa Libertadores for Jean-Paul Leek, Liga Deportiva Universitaria against Sao Paulo. 4-2, 4-2 was the result, so we have the whole highlights and the goals, everything that happened. So please, join us for that video. It's really good. So everything that happened during that game, let's see the road for Liga Deportiva Universitaria in the Copa Libertadores. So, for the ones that like to watch soccer, right there is for you. Robert always brings you variety. For Jean-Paul Leek, one of his best reviews still date is a Monday Night Raw. Retribution finally revealed their identity, Jean-Paul. It's probably the worst idea ever. Everybody's just trashing this. They call it like cheap comedy. Like me and Yim call a fan out because they said you're the only reason that you're in the main roster because of Keith Lee. And it said you got to do your research, Jean-Paul, because actually I'm on Impact and I busted my ass for 10 long years for me to be in the spot that I am right now.
No, yeah, well, that just go. I mean, I saw a fan was complaining that T-Bar called out CM Punk, or whichever Dijakovic is. I think T-Bar, he called out CM Punk. And people are like, oh, look at Dijakovic. He got, why is he getting all butthurt? And I'm like, it's kayfabe. Of course he's going to fire back and be like,
fire back. Yeah, because he's like, fine. Yeah, fans. But talking about marks, let's talk about AEW review. Right there, Cody looking like Elvis, looking like that character from that kids show. I don't know the name, but what I'm talking about. He came back finally. He came back to get his revenge on Brody Lee. So please, watch this review. Also Miro, he was right there. The results came in, Jean-Paul. AEW beat one more time NXT 856,000 to against 685,000. So that's what the numbers are. And also, Jean-Paul, remember you and me were saying about Miro being hurt. He seems is told to be okay. He was not limping anymore.
Well, that's right. Remember when Matt Hardy clearly suffered a concussion and Tony Khan was like, he's legit.
Well, yeah, that's true. Hey. That's true, so we don't know. So, don't forget, family, to be with us in every single one of the social media sites that we have right there. So, please be with us because we always try to put the best content in professional wrestling, soccer, and we're going to keep, increasing the amount of content that we do in all of those subjects and even more. So, Jean-Paul, let's talk about NXT. Did you like it? A lot of changes in the show. COVID had to, be the cause, the main reason why, NXT had to be completely, switched up. The Gauntlet match, the members that right there had to be switched up. Guys that are never in the main event were in the main event right now. I mean, for them, it's a good opportunity. You have to cash in these kind of situations. But, same thing we can say with, the Battle Royal. So, walk me through, very quick to, the thoughts of this show.
Yeah, just overall, you could see, it's okay, clearly, this was a fill-in, this was a substitute. But the main event was good because who do we want to see? Do we really want to see, Johnny Gargano's in another feud, but do we want to see Gargano, Cole, and all these people in the main event constantly? No, let them, shuffle out, put in new people. So I was fine with all the competitors in the main event. But yeah, the Battle Royal and some of the other matches and stuff, it's you could tell, but I didn't think this was a bad show for NXT, but it wasn't this was such a great, memorable show. It was okay, it's just passing along. I'm still excited for Takeover. I always am, but
doing their best with what they have. So, Jean-Paul says that, I think the same way, pretty much COVID is striking number 2. I think it's round 2 for COVID. So a lot of people are saying that one of the trainers had it. and then he's been spreading it out. So, shame on that. And they stopped the classes. No more classes like until further notice. So, like, a lot of things are happening on NXT. Even, Lance Archer on AEW. A lot of people, like the guy Jean Paul yesterday. See how like this situation with COVID is so so different and also unique, and also you gotta be really careful. The guy, there's a British wrestler that fought in AEW Dynamite on Tuesday. He just revealed he has COVID. So what happened to the guys that like he was fighting in Dynamite?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
This situation is really, really like interesting.
And see, that's why that's why
when it comes to this thing.
Yes, you got to, because it can happen to anybody, and it's extremely unfortunate. That is why I'm sure a lot of people are looking at Taz right now like, you son of a bitch. You don't say like, oh, we don't run a sloppy shop, and then so your shop is looking just as sloppy. So.
It's a little sloppy, yes. So like Jean Paul, let's go with the show. Then Battle Royal for the women, right there, Jean Paul. A lot of the girls that like they're not really featured on NXT TV regularly. So like most of them, and then we got to see also Raquel Gonzalez, Dakota Kai, as you guys can see in the picture. We get to see Shotzi, and then the only two that like had a real entrance were like Candice LeRae. And also, like, this is my. So, like, we got to see Rhea Ripley, where like they had actually an.
Yeah, because your girl Tegan Knox, she got attacked backstage. She was done.
Yeah, like by Candice. Yeah, Candice.
So.
And what do you think, Jean Paul, about the situation that with the knee though? Like they kind of like they were saying that like she injured the knee one more time. I don't know, like if that's actually making fun of her or like kind of played like a joke.
Well, I think it's one of the things where it's like oh, let's just keep playing up to an injury. How like Lex Luger had the metal plate in his arm, they had that like a gimmick. Her knee is just almost like a gimmick. It's like, oh, anytime we maybe want to take her out of something for a little bit, we'll just be like, oh, it's the knee. It's an easy way out. That's how I see it.
There's no easy way out, Jean Paul.
Yeah, exactly. There's no shortcut home. But, Rhea Ripley, her and Candice having entrances, I'm like, I don't like that. Why does, like, one or two people get entrances? Then everyone else in the ring is like uncle. They're like, so...
Yeah, exactly. And, Jean Paul, and the only thing that I was thinking about when I saw that is, like, really one of these two is going to win. Because
what did I say? Those were my two picks last week. I said Rhea is the smart pick because she's obviously the woman in NXT, but then it's like Candice, I think, is the pick that makes the most sense. So yeah.
So like that, but like, what do you think overall about this? I think that like they treated if you ask me, let me start for once in my life.
Go ahead.
Let me start like I think that like they treated this as like a regular Royal Rumble. So we got to see like the spots. We got to see Kofi Kingston, and when it comes to Casey Catanzaro. We got to see, like you said, like the big girls dominating everybody else. Raquel Gonzalez and Rhea Ripley pretty much eliminating everybody. So I didn't really like this a lot because, for the girls that don't have, regular presence on NXT, yeah, it's good because at least they get a shot. They can say, hey, mommy, look at me. I'm on TV. That's pretty cool. But for everybody else, it's like really Raquel and like Rhea, they took care of everybody else. So it shows to me that like pretty much those two are like the main people on NXT. So that's how I felt, Jean Paul. Now,
And towards the end of this thing, after they trimmed the fat, you could say, Rhea and Raquel knocked each other over they pretty much went over the top rope at the same time and kept fighting. So obviously that's the feud. And I'm like, we could have seen that within the first 2-3 minutes of the match. Nobody would have been like, oh, these women suck. It would have been, okay, they threw each other over. And then you could have saw these other women actually have, a little bit of a showcase for themselves. But, not that it's like, oh, Aaliyah and Xia Li and, Indy Hartwell and all these women are like, must see, but at least give them a little bit of an opportunity because we know what Rhea can do. We know, like, unless she's going to win the Battle Royal, there's no reason to put her in there. Remember, we said the same thing about Shayna Baszler. Remember when she was in that last Battle Royal?
That's what I mean.
Why have clearly the strongest woman in here if she's not going to win? But yeah, you have the picture of Casey Catanzaro. To just touch on what you said, they did the Kofi Kingston Naomi spot 2-3 times. And then she just comes back in the ring. She looks like a deer in the headlights. She's extremely athletic, but wrestling, hey, like learn from your husband, Prince Puma, a little bit how to wrestle better. But yeah, and then she gets thrown out. So it's like, what's the point of, you take your eyes off the action in the ring to focus on her for like, how long to get back in the ring just to get eliminated?
Yeah, so, and that's what I said. They treated that like as a Royal Rumble. Yes. You said like the first one she fell on her ass. And that's how like she was still in the match. And then like Kaden Carter, or Jaden Carter, like she was the one that like kind of got her in her shoulders and kind of got her in again, and then got eliminated. So towards the end, at least, we got, like you said, like the main women, and like we got like I see Candice, we got to see Shotzi, we got to see Dakota Kai. So
those were the final 3, and I actually liked this because they were kind of like, teaming up, beating up Shotzi a little bit, but then Shotzi throws out Dakota Kai, so that's why we're getting that match next week, I guess. But then the spot that like really killed it for me, it's like, okay, you're in the ring, let's just throw Shotzi over the top rope and be done with it. No, they had to be like, oh, let's do the Lance Archer spot, and we're like fighting on the apron, fighting on the ring steps, and it had to just end kind of crappy like that for me anyway. I didn't like that. Yeah. I'd rather just see the action in the ring, thrown over the top rope, and Candice won. I still got the right winner. So for me, I was happy Candice won.
Oh, we got this girl. She's the winner. She's the Dixie Pixie, I think what it is, or like the Poison Dixie or something like that.
Pixie. Get your mind out of the gutter there. It's a Poison Pixie.
Oh, Poison Pixie. There you go. Yeah. Like that. But like she's she's cool, like the character. We said many times, like she turned heel. She needed to get a big win. And what did you predict? It is like, hey, the best match out of like any other pairing is Candice against Io Shirai. So that was pretty much like that. Like you needed Candice. Candice is heel. Io is the face. Do it.
And we haven't seen the matchup since their new like character changes like this. So we haven't seen this matchup. So it's fresh enough because we've seen Dakota, we've seen Shotzi, we've seen Rhea. Let's see this. So I'm excited.
And of course I like when like Johnny came out like like I like this couple. I mean, one day it will happen for the members of Raw, but it's legit, and it's official. We're gonna see Io Shirai again defending against Candice LeRae. So it was good. I really like this, and like at least the Garganos got like an important spot in the show. So to start the show, it was pretty good. I enjoyed this. I really liked it. So now Jean Paul is going to talk about our boy. No, it's not our boy. Like we don't really care for him too much, and I can say that like even they said in commentary, we didn't have Wade Barrett, by the way. We had Tom Phillips and Big Joseph and Beth Phoenix, but he said after NXT Takeover in your house, when like Karrion Kross pretty much beat the crap out of him, Tommaso Ciampa has not been the same. And, he had the match with Jake Atlas right there. I mean, like you said, you like how he comes out with, like, the mask, like, looking like Retribution right there. Like, is that, like, T-Bar or Tommaso Ciampa? I don't know who it is. But the match itself, it was pretty decent, I will say. But in the end, he gets the win. So why you even have the match if you're going to give me the same guy as the win?
Well, I think it's because they're slowly building up Ciampa. Because honestly, who would you have win this thing? If you're like, okay, for the sake of the company, the sake of whatever, are you ever going to push Jake Atlas to the main event? Are you ever going to put a belt on him? Are you ever going to do anything like that with him? Probably not. Tommaso Ciampa could easily be a champion again. You could see him going against Damien Priest in the future. You could see him even going against Finn Balor or whoever. I could see him being NXT champion again because I don't really see him going to the main roster. So you're obviously going to push Ciampa here. But the match, it was pretty good. Atlas got the offense in. Ciampa sold for him as much as Ciampa should. And then it's like, okay, I come firing back. But obviously he dominated it. I do like the spot where he went for the cartwheel DDT and he kicks the foot out from under him. And then when he hit the the draping DDT, and then he's like, no, it's not done.
Oh yeah,
I like that when he does the when he does the fairy tale ending, but this time instead of just like slamming the guy down, he almost does like a driver. He like twists them now. So then that was cool. And like you said about the commentary, I mean, it wasn't too bad in the beginning of the show, but then as it was going on, just being Tom Phillips and Beth Phoenix, just the two of them, no Wade Barrett. That was just. That was kind of like, Wade at least he's not so like corporate. He actually says what's on his mind, not what's being fed to him through the headset. So, or at least being fed to him through like the Vince McMahon inner thoughts in Tom Phillips' head.
I agree with you. I mean, it was okay. I mean, like you said, touching upon like the fairy tale ending, like even Tom Phillips says he did a variation of it. He's changing the move a little bit, and he came out okay. And then, like you said, he get the win. He left. He came back. He beat up a little bit of Atlas a little more. And after that, like, he just left, like you said, probably they're building Ciampa for bigger things because after, like, the thing with Karrion Kross, he came out a little hurt. And Edge, I don't know if you saw this in Untold of WWE, he said that the main goal of a real feud, of a great rivalry, is both guys coming out strong. And I don't think Ciampa came out as strong as, like, the thing with, like, Karrion Kross. Karrion Kross came out really well, but not Ciampa. So, like, that's why probably they need him in, like, this low...
Oh, yeah, that's why I don't understand. Looking back on it, Karrion Kross being hurt, it's kind of like, oh man, that was like a wasted feud. But it wasn't even really a feud. It was just like a high profile match for him to get the win. They essentially jobbed Champ out. That wasn't any. He didn't benefit from it unless the benefit was him turning heel now. So I don't know. But
exactly. So John Paul, let's go to like a really legit, really nicely done. Like you always said, we always mentioned this in the history of our show. We said that like the video packages that WWE always produces, they always like are absolutely great, and they were hyping up the Gauntlet match. And for that, they have this song featuring Corey Taylor, the leader of Slipknot, the leader of Stone Sour, and now he's going on a solo career. And now he's like the team for like this video package with Culture Head. So like there's a really nice video package featuring Bronson Reed, featuring Kushida, featuring Kyle O'Reilly, featuring like
Timothy Thatcher, Cameron Grimes,
like Cameron Grimes. It's like Cameron Grimes is gonna hold the title, and he's gonna be against Finn Balor, and I'm gonna be to the moon like that. And then Kyle O'Reilly was like, so I'm legit, but then I live under the shadow of Cole, but everybody else knows I'm legit. So like the song within playing, and like this guy's like talking Kushida a little bit Japanese, is like it's my time. It was really cool. I was really hyped for what this match was gonna like give me. I was really excited because it's like guys that like are not main event, but they're all talented. So why not do this? So I think it's a good way of like using this negative, making into like a really great positive, using this kind of guys. So I was really, hyped up for this situation, Jean Paul.
Oh yeah, I 100% agree, and I'm excited for them using, because I thought it was a pretty badass song. So them using it for NXT, as well for the video packages and stuff for that's
it's going to be one of the themes of NXT. So like you can tell Triple H pretty much is like a big fan of Slipknot, of Corey Taylor, because even like NXT is like Slipknot all my life. And now they have like Culture Head with like Corey Taylor, and they've done a few songs also from Slipknot. Frantic with Metallica. So Triple H likes metal. We love metal. We love Triple H. See how much everything is connected? So now something that is not connected, and you can tell like they use guys that they had available. Fandango was like kind of playing as Sherlock Holmes. So like he's like with William Regal, and he's like, please don't be doing British accents here. So like he's like, well, how can we do with like to use these guys that like we're just there, and then they pretty much had to mix them up. And they use Roderick Strong with like Danny Burch going against Fabian Agner and Raul Mendoza. So that's why they had these all four guys. And whoever wins, their teams will be facing each other next week. And they will become number one contender for the NXT Tag Team Championships. Am I correct, Jean Paul?
Yes. And see, that's the one thing. See, and like, I don't understand. It wasn't that hard of a concept to figure out, but then of course they had to have Beth and Tom Phillips play like idiots on commentary. They're like, "Is that how it works? I don't know. I'm confused. I think so." And I'm like, "Okay, it's really not a hard concept." And how they did this is how AEW should have did it when they had like the Lucha Bros and the Young Bucks and the 8-man tag. 8-man tags, that's too many people. Yeah. This is how you do it. You normal tag match next week now. But the thing is, are their partners all out because of COVID, or like what's going on here? Like,
well, I mean, you don't know what, like you said.
Yeah, so I don't unless they just thought the same thing I did, where it's like, hey, 8-man is too much. Oni Lorcan, Bobby Fish, all the other guys. Just hey, take a break this week. These guys will do the job. But I enjoyed this match. Fabian Aichner to me he's one of like. He's extremely underrated. He's like Cesaro and Kurt Angle combined. Like the way he looks, he wrestles like Cesaro. Like extremely underrated, I think. Just
like he's like you always say, like he's the Kurt Angle. He's like a pretty like Kurt Angle with like not really the opportunity of being Kurt Angle, but like he is.
And then all four of these guys in this match was legit, and I think the right team won because Imperium to me, I would. Once, things open up and hopefully they can get more tag teams on NXT, I hope Imperium's days are numbered, at least on this brand, because, NXT UK is off to a hot start. And from what I saw, it looked like another good episode this week. I mentioned I'm watching it as soon as we're done here, and I think that's where they need to be. So I think, Imperium can go back there, and this was good. And the one thing surprised me is Danny Burch actually got the pin on Raul Mendoza. I was like, Danny Burch gets a pin? He doesn't eat the pin? Yeah. I was like, oh my God. So this will be legit. To me, I don't get me wrong. Undisputed Era is so legit. I love Roderick Strong. He's one of my favorite wrestlers on NXT. Bobby Fish is good too. Kyle O'Reilly, they had all these, legit opportunities tonight, but come put the belt on these boys. Oni Lorcan, Danny Burch, let's Let's see
I
this
mean,
match.
if you did the same thing for Fandango and Tyler Breeze, why wouldn't you do it for these other two guys? Like, see, like, not doesn't even have wristbands, doesn't even have tape. Just the freaking like trunks. That's it.
Nah,
That's
school.
it.
Yeah, he's old school.
Yeah, like that's it. Only showing like the balls and all of that, showing the junk, like American English will mention. So like that, I mean, I was excited and I'm looking forward to see when he was trying to go for the handshake and Strong was like the old school like, well, so no, you guys can see me like like that. So it was good. I'm enjoying this and
and it was a good match too.
Yeah, no, and then see like Roman Mendoza, of course, the guy that like pretty much from the Legado del Fantasma. We haven't seen Santos Escobar in like a little while. I think that like he might have COVID. I heard a report from Brian Alvarez. Brian Alvarez is sometimes he can be right, sometimes it's absolutely bullshit. So it's completely far fetched. But he said he didn't mention names, Jean Paul, but he said, hey, if you don't see them on TV.
Yeah, we haven't seen him for now 2 weeks, and then we did see a promo, which we just mentioned it now that you brought it up. Swerve Scott kind of called out, like you said, he called him out, and he's like, I pinned you twice, what's going on, where are you, I want my shot.
And I live.
And then Santos Escobar, it's like, where is he? Maybe he is sick. Maybe he does have COVID.
So we don't know what was going to happen, but, that's what we have in the show. Moving on, Jean Paul, we have the North American champion, the guy that wants to live forever, Damien Elliott Priest. So right there, Jean Paul. Like he has a match with like a guy that like he even said in the promo, he said, hey, a guy that like has a lot of talent, but he doesn't even use it. So I'm gonna beat him. So because he had in the promo that he had before the match, he invited one more time Mackenzie, I think it is, or
no, Sarah Schreiber.
Sarah Schreiber. I don't know why they don't have Mackenzie. Another Kobe, Jean Paul, maybe right there. So they got Sarah Schreiber, and he's like, hey, you want to join the party in the after party? So Priest is legit, dude. I love her.
Oh, yeah. And I love how, like, she kind of has that, like, confused look on her face when she's like, I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, it's like,
she's like, I'm thinking about living forever.
Yeah, should I go? Should I not go? So, like, yeah, I love Damien Priest, I'm really happy that he's the North American champion. He got the match with Austin Theory. I really think that it was a good match. I don't have any issues with it. I think the right winner came out of that, Damien Priest. But it was good. What do you think of it?
Oh yeah, Austin Theory is a hell of a wrestler, and like we said, he's immature. He was, he was horny in the DMs. He got in trouble. Whatever the hell happened. Okay, yeah, punish him, whatever. Make him, earn his dues, work his way back up. But at some point, you can't not push this kid. He's way too talented. Oh, he's 22, 23. Look how good he is. He's he's tall. He's got the body on him, and the sky's the limit for him. But Damien Priest, obviously he's got to go over.
Oh yeah, and it was a good match.
It was good. Yeah, I love how there was near falls too, and he went for the ATL. It's like, no, you're bullshit. The Razor's Edge on the outside on the apron was legit. I mean, just tons of good stuff.
And the Awakening is a really good move too. I really like it. When he does like his move is really good, and right there, like the guy that lives forever. And like we said, Jean Paul, we always bring the news, and like probably some of you know already, but like at NXT Takeover in October 4, 2020, he is going to be defending the North American Championship against Johnny Wrestling. So
yeah, dude, and because in the promo too, like you said, Austin Theory was there, and Johnny Gargano. He's like, "Hey, man, if you just, if you want to soften him up, beat him up for me a little bit before Takeover." He's like, "I'll return the favor."
Yeah, and then Johnny's legit. Dude. Like Johnny in heel is more legit than Johnny face.
And then then after the thing, what happened? Johnny comes out. He whoops him. I love when he does the arrow. He does like the bow and arrow to him. Like, all right, you son of a bitch. So like, it'll be good.
Right there, for
but
example,
now,
right there.
I know we're a little early, but I want, and there, we still got to see the match next week, which we'll get into. But who do you think's gonna win? Because I know you're really behind seeing the Gargano family with the gold, but I know you love Damien Priest. So who do you want to see? Like, let's say Candice win. If Candice wins, do you want to see Johnny win so they both have the gold?
Yeah, because I want to see the Garganos with gold. Yeah.
So then you turn on your boy Priest so quick.
Because it's like I want to live forever with the Garganos, dude. Yeah, I'm a family man. I gotta support like families, and families stay together. So like, I mean, and Damien is gonna live forever. That's the thing. Like, if he lives forever, that means that like he's gonna have a championship.
Yeah, that's true. Opportunity at some point, yeah.
How like he can win that back, but like I think that it's time. I don't want the reign for Priest to be that short. So maybe they need star power, and of course, who is the one guy that you think when you say NXT Takeover? What guy comes to mind? There's only two guys. I mean, 3, I would say. Cole, Ciampa, and Johnny Gargano. So, like, and Cole, maybe, like, he needs a break. Hey, he can take a takeover break. Okay. But you need Gargano then.
Yeah, and maybe Cole's one of the guys who's sick. Who knows?
Yeah, we don't know, So, like, that's what I think that, like, is a good opportunity.
Yeah,
but, like,
maybe the doctor gave it to him from AEW.
Yeah, well, the doctor, yes. Well, like, they see each other every day. So, like, hey, you never know. So, now, Jean-Paul, let's go to a guy that, like, was, like, brought up for, like, before NXT TakeOver, the last one we saw. He was going to be in that qualifiers for the ladder match, and that's Rich Holland. He's going to be in action. He had a nice video package also. So, he actually had a match. And the match was actually pretty cool, though, and it was really good. And they also got a really great picture about what NXT TakeOver is going to be. Right there, Jean-Paul, for you, like all of that, like all like kind of like the same promos that Io Shirai underwater, things like that. But like it was a pretty good match. Like he fought like an enhancement talent, I think it was, right, Jean-Paul?
Oh yeah, obviously just a little bump machine. So obviously when he does the overhead Germans, the guy goes halfway across the ring. And see, this is what we should have saw. To have the match with Rich, and NXT does this. They bring in a guy who, he wasn't brand new. It's not like, we didn't really know who he is. We knew he was in NXT UK. They said, oh, he's undefeated there for months. Comes to the NXT, the main show, and then loses to Johnny Gargano.
Yeah.
It's like,
so that's what I mean. So
now it's like, okay, now we got to reset. It's like Asuka going up to the main roster, and then lose to Charlotte. Done. Who cares? And then Asuka eventually built their way back up. But, that's kind of what they're doing Rich Holland. So they had to do the reset. To me, when I see this guy wrestle, now I love his finisher. Obviously, he almost killed Johnny Gargano with it. But, here, he hits it legit. The job guy knew how to sell it better, I guess, or protect his neck. But
better, yeah.
Yeah, so this was good. And to me, I could easily see him, beating Damien Priest at some point. I don't know if they would put him over Finn Balor, but, but I could definitely see him being NXT champ also at some point too. The guy is too good, the body of work, or maybe he's here, he gets really built up, and then goes back to NXT UK to challenge Walter. I could see that, even load up the NXT UK roster and give them a mid-card title.
Yeah, well, that's
let's see something with
need a mid-card, but I think that it will take maybe a month, 2 months, 3 months, because if they keep producing shows on a regular basis, meaning we don't know with COVID. That's the one thing.
Oh, yeah.
COVID is up in the air, so you don't know anything. Nothing is set in stone in our lives anymore, Jean-Paul. The only thing that is set in stone in our lives is that Raw break will live forever with Damien Priest or not. But
and Sarah Schreiber.
Oh yeah, even Sarah Schreiber joins, even Knox, even anybody, even or any other girl.
Yeah, Joey Janela's girlfriend. So
yeah,
he can sit there and watch with the spit pooling in his mouth as we're in the hot tub with his girlfriend.
Brandy wrestling, right there. So Jean-Paul, let's go to give the show. Like I said, good match. Rich Holland, I like the promo also, Jean-Paul. I really like that. How he was going, I play rugby. I know how it is intensity. So now let's go to Io Shirai, Jean-Paul, because Io Shirai, last you said, the promo that they had with the Garganos, right there. She was actually being interviewed, and then Candice came out, and then they were actually talking, Io in Japanese, of course, and then Candice in English. They were going at it. It's like, I don't like you. I never did, and now we're gonna have a magic.
And then I like, because then the Garganos come out. Like you said, after she's like, I don't like Candice, never did, never will. The Garganos come out. And then Candice was like, oh, blah, 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 you're scared of me. Johnny's like, yeah, you're scared. And then Io starts yelling in Japanese. And I think Candice wrestled over in Japan, so I think she probably knows a little bit. And I love how she's like, oh, yeah, really? And, we should just make up whatever, But then Johnny's like, I don't know what you're saying, but I don't like the tone of it. So, I mean, it's funny stuff there. But then the best part is when the door flies open. Damien Priest is walking in. All these refs are like, no, stop. He's like, oh, what's up, Johnny? And just knocks him right out.
Yeah, it was good. So what did they do, Jean-Paul, in WWE fashion?
Yeah, and then I'm like, oh, I don't know why that couldn't have just been what happened. Oh, let's build up heat towards TakeOver, and then, whatever. Then it's like, oh, next week we have, Io Shirai and Damien Priest are going to go against the Garganos. And I'm like, what?
Intergender matches,
Because, see, I would pop for this if it would have been like when they did Keith Lee and Mia Yim, against the Garganos, because you could have Mia Yim beat up Johnny Gargano because they're pretty much the same size, and it's like, oh, okay, that's at least entertaining. What did I say to you? Are we going to see? I mean, Io Shirai will probably hit the moonsault on Gargano.
Yeah,
Gargano will be the guy who gets beat up, but are we going to see the reckoning on Candice? No.
No, and then that.
Like, remember how legit it was when Baron Corbin hit the end of days or whatever on Becky Lynch?
That was awesome.
Remember, everybody popped for that. It was like, holy shit, that was legit heat for Seth Rollins and him going into that match. But I don't think we'll see that. So
I would love when I used to love when remember it's Stephanie McMahon's birthday, so we gotta say happy birthday to like the prince of WWE, the princess of WWE. Mm-hmm. And like I remember when she would take the pedigree, she took the rock bottom, she took the stunner. I don't think she ever took the tombstone pile driver. Maybe it chokes them, but when she the walls of Jericho, so she took all of these moves and like it was legit. We'll be like,
well, Tommy Dreamer, he used to like tombstone Beulah.
Oh, Beulah! Beulah
the pile driver.
Beulah pretty much took even the spear from Edge, and then remember Edge by like Pinner. Pretty much like they were like having sex and stuff. Yeah. So like we'll pop when like those things happen. But it was a good promo. In WWE fashion, we're gonna get an intergender match. We'll see how it goes in the go home show for NXT Takeover. But now let's go right there, Jean Paul. Like it's gonna be the Gauntlet match. Everybody's excited about it. I think that like, what are your thoughts about this Gauntlet match, there, Jean Paul?
I really like the rules. I wish it was, because when we get towards the ending, I wish all the details of the rules were a little bit more explained. But I do like how it's, two guys start, and then every, 4 or 5 minutes, whatever it was, a new guy comes out. And I like that because I'm like, okay, now we don't just see 2 guys fight forever, and then the third guy comes out, and clearly the guy who won the first match should be tired, but he somehow wins and wins and wins. It wouldn't make sense. So I like how they did this. And, the match, it was good. All 5 of these guys, I'm like, they're legit. They deserve to be there just because, what did we say? You can't have, Tommaso Ciampa constantly be in the main event. Same thing with Adam Cole. Give these guys a break. Give them other feuds. And let's see these other guys, who deserve an opportunity.
Yeah. Hi there, Bronson. Like it was a good match. I think that, like, all the guys look good. And it's like you said, it's different things for, like, these guys that, like, they deserve that. They needed it. And see, like, Bronson did a job. Timothy Thatcher looked good. I think that, like, Cameron Grimes looked decent. That was the one thing is, like, to me, he's more comical than serious. So I don't know how to take Cameron Grimes, as of late. But I think that, like, it was a pretty good showing from everybody. Kushida did pretty good. What do you think? Walk me through some example.
Well, I mean, to kind of just go through the whole thing as quick as possible, like you said, Kushida and O'Reilly started it, and they were kind of just like, let's try to do the submissions, the arm bars, because, that's like their style. And then Bronson Reed came out, and then this is kind of where I had the problem with the match. It's because every time, one of the 3 was getting a submission on the other guy, instead of the third guy helping put another submission on the guy who's being submitted, they'll attack the guy who is, putting the submission on. So then it's like, no, help the guy, eliminate one guy, so it's just 2 of you. But they kept fighting, going back and forth. Eventually, all 3 guys are kind of in the, on the top rope in the corner. And then O'Reilly gets knocked down. And then, Velveteen Dream comes in. And then Death Valley Driver on Kushida, done. Bronson Reed hits his big splash, the typhoon or tsunami or whatever the hell they called it. 1, 2, 3. So then, of course, earthquake, typhoon, natural disasters off the top rope. Speaking of which, he hit a spine buster, and they're like, Road Warrior Animal. So Kushida's eliminated, and obviously Velveteen Dream, they're going to continue that feud, which I'm like, I'm over that feud. I just want to see Kushida get pushed. But then the match really picked up at this point. Once all the other 4 guys were in the ring for me, that's when it picked up. That's when it's legit. I'm getting a real big fan of Timothy Thatcher, just seeing him wrestle. The intensity, he just sells everything legit. He wrestles legit. Everything he does makes sense. He doesn't just do stupid shit in the ring just for the sake of doing it. I like Cameron Grimes, like his funny gimmick. Now, I think with him being funny, he's kind of pegged himself to be like, I'm only going to be mid-card champ, and that's it. I don't see them putting the NXT championship on a guy who's like, to the moon, so we'll see. But I mean, it was, but it was, but I mean, it was good. And then, of course, you're watching this thing, and we're all smart. We're like, okay, it's like 9:45, like, or like we watch it late, so but it's like, okay, there's only 10 minutes left. Okay, the eliminations got to start coming.
Yes.
And then it was like Timothy Thatcher kind of just got rolled up, and I was like, oh, okay. That's like whatever. And Bronson Reed, he got like pushed off the top. I forget, he got pushed off the top, and then he's like, oh, I'm done. And then O'Reilly hit like an elbow or a knee or something in his back, and then he was done. So I was like, that was kind of a little bullshit for Bronson Reed, but he wasn't going to win the thing anyway. But then this is my main, like, I was like, I don't know what's going on with this.
Grimes and O'Reilly, Jean Paul, those two.
Yeah. When I was gonna say when Cameron Grimes hit the stomp on O'Reilly.
Yeah.
I was like, he hit the stomp, and you're like, oh, he's gonna win. It's like, oh, okay. And then he pins him. O'Reilly puts his foot on the ropes, and the ref's like rope break, and I'm like, but is rope break a rule? Is that like rules in this? I didn't, nobody knew what the rules were, and because a multi-man match, that's really not like, is that rules? I don't know. That's because WWE changes it from match to match to match.
As they go, as they go. So that's a problem. You don't really know the ruling until you see the match happening. So yeah, I agree with you. But in the end, Kyle O'Reilly gets the win, Jean Paul.
Yeah, because Cameron Grimes. Yeah, the main thing, which I was like, at first I kind of had to like watch it again. He goes for the stomp, and then he gets him in like a knee submission, a knee bar or something, and he instantly taps out. And I'm like, what the? I'm like, why would you instantly tap out? But he sold after he did the stomp, like he tweaked his knee, like, oh shit, my knee's done. And then that's the knee that O'Reilly went after. So, he got him. And of course, before that, he's like, oh, you're not Adam Cole. You're bullshit. You're not undisputed anymore. You guys are shit. So then, it's a little bit more fire for O'Reilly. And I'm looking forward to this match at Takeover.
Well, yeah, it was. And, like, for example, we got also, like, this picture right there. The Undisputed Era came out. Also, Adam Cole came out. And
well, then maybe he is good then. Yeah.
He's legit. Yeah, he's legit. He got, like, the Sansu bean from, like...
Because I will be honest to the family, because I am 100% honest in all my opinions. As soon as he won, I was like, okay, legit, and I turned it off.
Well, see, there you go.
So there you go. So there we go. I gotta be honest with the family.
He made even this, he made this family, like right there. He came out and he pretty much pointed out like our NXT champion, Finn. What? Let's see, Finn. Elliot. Not Elliot. I already have it.
Yeah, you think about it. Think of for next week.
Yeah, we'll save it for next week. Yeah, Finn, but like Balor comes out and he pretty much was saying like is pointing out at like Kyle O'Reilly. It's gonna be a good match. It's gonna be a really good wrestling match, and like you said, it's official, Jean Paul. Right there, we got the picture.
There it is.
NXT Takeover October 4th, and it's gonna be Finn Balor defending the NXT Championship against the newly undisputed. Now, finally got like shot as a singles competitor, Kyle O'Reilly. So I think that like they did justice to him. The right guy won. Why? Because we've been saying for the longest time, outside of Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly has a personality, whereas like Roderick Strong is a really great wrestler, but lacks a little bit of personality, lacks that edge, to like have a character of its own. And then Bobby Fish is just Bobby Fish. But Kyle O'Reilly he'll come out, remember, like rocking like the title. He'll like say jokes. He'll like be taunting guys. And remember when you said he played like the shrink, like the psychiatrist and all of that. So it was good. So we're looking forward for this, Jean Paul. This is going to be interesting because it's going to be a different thing. We don't see these guys we don't see Kyle O'Reilly in the main event. So that's going to be different. And I'm looking forward. NXT TakeOver 31. So it's going to be good. So, overall, Jean Paul, tell me your thoughts on this whole show.
Yeah, Dad. The whole show overall, besides a couple things here and there, like I said with the Battle Royal, maybe tweak this, tweak that a little bit. But all the matches kind of in between, after the Battle Royal, were pretty good. It was like Damien Priest and Austin Theory. I think that almost stole the show. That was a really good match. Tommaso Ciampa.
Jake Atlas, he was okay.
Jake Atlas. There's too many names. Right. Jake Atlas was like, but the main event was good. I really enjoyed it. I'm not a big fan of the Kushida Velveteen Dream feud continuing, but we'll see where that goes. As long as Kushida wins,
might be a match at NXT Takeover, Simple, because knowing that they don't have all the star power, maybe they will make it. Oh yeah, this is going to be like the blow up of the feud. This is going to be the last time that they face off. So
yeah, I'd be fine with that as long as it's like I said, if that's the blow off and Kushida goes over. But NXT Takeover, is looking like it'll be a good show.
Oh yeah, well I'm looking for Io and Candice 3. So, it's going to be really, really good. I'm really excited about that. The main event is not bad because O'Reilly deserves a push.
Yeah.
He's not going to win the title.
No.
Absolutely. I don't see Finn Balor being a transitional champion, but at least he's going to put on a good effort.
Yeah, and Johnny and Priest will be a legit match.
Johnny and Priest is going to be legit, so we'll see what happens. Maybe a tag team championship match, maybe. Or maybe, like you said, Kushida Velveteen Dream, or maybe something within the girls also.
Yeah, and if our boy Escobar isn't done, I could easily see Swerve Scott and Escobar being on there
for the Cruiserweight Championship. So we'll see. I'm all about that. So family, thank you so very much for being with us in this show for NXT. A little later than usual, but we love that you guys are always waiting for this. you guys like don't watch the show because you rather see the review. So thank you so very much. So Jean-Paul, remind everybody where they can find us.
We can find us on Rope Break on Facebook, the OG Rope Break on Twitter, the original Rope Break right there on Instagram, and of course, for the #1 podcast in the YouTube wrestling community, the original Rope Break right here on YouTube.
Right there. And for all of you, I want to say just thank you. See? Right there. Thank you to every single one that is watching. Yeah, no, not thank you, Taker. Thank you to everybody in the family, and then please subscribe for the ones that haven't, or the ones that are subscribed. Hit that bell for all notifications. So, Jean-Paul, you and me have one more thing that is left to say, besides inviting everybody for Smackdown review. We have NXT UK review. We have previous predictions for Clash of Champions. We have Clash of Champions in Spanish and English. We have Copa Libertadores next week. So, Road Break is always busy. So, you know, it doesn't matter if it's COVID. It doesn't matter if it rains, like thunderstorms, you know, like anything.
Snow soon.
Always there. You know, so Jean-Paul, you and me, one more thing that is left to say, and that is